The Pioneers opened up the 2019 campaign on the road for their second longest ever road trip in Pioneer football history to Cleveland, Mississippi. Hello again, everyone. Brian Stayton as we open up a new 2019 football season, joined by fourth-year head coach Jerry Odom as these Pioneers take the long trip to the Mississippi Delta in a game that the Delta State Okra, I like to call them the Fighting Okra, come up with a big victory. A team that went just 2-8 last season, but a team that also is looking to turn things around. Did so on their first game in their home opener against the Pioneers by a score of 24-10. The Pioneers, who finished 5-5 last season, also looking to turn some things around, but also have a new direction under center or in the shotgun. A couple of question marks there that showed, well, they were pretty good as far as the freshman quarterbacks were concerned, and also the defense that returned nearly everyone. Ivan Hogan's proved once again that he may be very tough in the South Atlantic Conference when it begins. We welcome in the coach, Jerry Odom. Don't have the highlights to show you this week for this contest, but let's just talk about it a little bit. And I started with the question marks for the Pioneers at quarterback. I think some answers. We received some answers this past Thursday night under the lights. I think the kids showed a lot of poise because we got to see both of them.
Yeah, I think Joaquin Collazo and Bryce Moore both are guys we can win with. I thought for young guys in their first start, they played extremely well under duress. They were not the problem, to me. That not the problem at all. I was very, very happy with both of them. Obviously made a few freshman mistakes, but both of them proved that they're good enough for their feet, good enough for their arms to help us win football games. Where we've got to be better is up front. That's the bottom line, is that we got whooped up front. And when you can't block them up front, it doesn't matter what you call. Yeah. And they came in with a little bit of a new scheme. They were a 50 team last year. They went to a 3-3. Had some new players that I've never seen before that weren't on the two deep, that played very well for them inside. And they just got after us in that part. We had a couple shots, made some plays early. I thought Torrey Ponder looked good until he got a little dinged up. We spread the ball around, had a few drops. But I think really at the end of the day, offensively, the tail of the tape was they were better up front than we were. We didn't block as well as we need to.
9 different receivers had receptions from the two quarterbacks, both Collazo and Moore, and also Jordan Shippey moves into the top 10 in career rushing numbers with 56 yards rushing, and I think that's where I'll go. Didn't have those numbers that we had last year in the rushing game. And again, you mentioned it. I think their defensive line might have been just a little bit more stout than we thought, and our offensive line wasn't as good maybe as we thought.
Well, it's hard to say. First games are funny because you don't really know what they're going to do. You're kind of rolling the dice, and you don't know what they're going to do, what changes they've made. All you can look at is last year's tape, and then you also don't know who they're going to play or who may be new to their team, how many transfers they got and things like that. And I think they brought in some, they didn't return a lot of guys, which sometimes when you go to a place like Delta State where they can get transfers and junior college guys very, very easily, you don't really know what's going to happen. And I think they're well coached. They do a good job. They didn't surprise us necessarily with the 3-3, but they executed it very well. And there are times we didn't execute. I think we've got to get back to what we do well, and we've got to be able to run the football better. That's kind of our bread and butter, but I am encouraged that we can be more balanced with the quarterbacks and the receiver play that I did see. Had three or four drops that we got to correct with the receivers, but as a whole, it was one of those things where we've just got to get better all the way around, and you prove the most between your first and second game. And for us, we're going to have to, because we're playing a good football team this week.
Real good team that'll be coming in. For the Pioneers on the road in Delta State, it was a great first play. Come up with a 36-yard pass play to Torrey Ponder, but then went backwards, missed a field goal. They get the ball, unable to move it. Then eventually they pinned us deep. And our first mistake of the game was the interception, which led to the touchdown for Delta. And that came on third down. They had a lot of success on third downs early. But I think it was the mistake, offensively. We didn't have many in the game. Again, we had a couple of picks, but it seems as if Delta State made us pay whenever we did make it.
Well, and that's the defense's fault, in my opinion. Let's just say we had a very good understanding of what they were trying to do to us. We had practiced that exact play on 3rd and 7 or more the day before. Sometimes I feel like when you have an older group, they want to do too much instead of just do their job. And I told them that yesterday. I said, just do your job and everything happens for the right way. And our corner bit, and he knew he wasn't supposed to. And, now our safety's trying to cover both, and it can't happen. And we talked about how we wanted to play that, and he knew that he was wrong. And We gave up an easy one where we should have gotten off the field. You notice they tried that several more times on us and never got it again, and we did a great job playing it. But those are the things that frustrate you as a coach. There's no doubt about it. It'd be one thing if they showed me something that we were totally unexpected, that we hadn't repped in practice. But those are the things we've got to get better. More discipline. The effort was good. I have no problem with our effort. We flew around. We played hard. We got to tackle a little bit better, but that's what you worry about a little bit first games as you're getting back into it. But overall, two of their big plays, we literally got tackled during the play and got no call, and that's part of going on the road. You got to be good enough to beat the officials and the other team. I tell the kids that all the time. It's the truth. Most anywhere you go, officials take offense to that, but that's how we look at it as coaches, because you just don't know who you're going to get to call the game. And but I would say we played 66, 67 plays. Probably 60 of them we played very, very well. Those 6 or 7 plays, they had 4 explosion plays for over 15 yards. 3 just happened to be for touchdowns, and that's what got us in the game. Had we not had those, you look at it and you go, man, we played pretty good. Especially, and I think they're a better team. You mentioned they were 2-8. That's their first losing season in 5 years. The year before they were 9-4, and they're usually a perennial playoff team. We lost the game late and had to pick the else to stay it up. So it wasn't like I was going, oh yeah, let's search out these guys because they're 2-8. I knew that this was going to be a tough matchup, but you don't know how you look till you get your picture took. So we got it took. We know we got to get better at, and we got a great team coming in this week. And my thing on playing good teams is if you play 2 really good teams, you can find a way to win at least one of them. It doesn't count and get you in the conference standings, but it could help you if you can win against a good football team, but at least shows you what you're deficient at. If you play 2 teams that aren't very good, then you don't know what your deficiencies are once you get into conference play, and you don't want to find out then. And that's one of the things that we looked at when we were looking at this situation with the schedule, the way it unfolded.
3 years ago, 4 years ago, conference champions and national champions as well. It's a good team.
Yeah.
They lead 10-0 at the half. I think that's what's impressive for me on the road against all the accolades that Patrick Shegog had at quarterback for them, the co-offensive freshman of the year from a year ago. Have been shut down. Actually, the coach pulled him, brought in Breck Reddick, who was the starter last year to begin. I thought that may stick. But they come out in the second half with the lead and the ball, and they just did something a little bit different on us. It took us maybe just a moment to adjust.
You look at it, actually they didn't. We had them 3rd and 8. I called a cover 2 blitz, and our Sam doesn't get into the half. And his job is to get in the half. If he just gets in the half, they ran a sluggo, which is a slant and go. It's a dead play. If he threw it, it should have been, if we execute that, it's a pick. It should have been a pick. Those are the things. They didn't do anything crazy. They went tempo. It's not like we didn't know they were going to. And they did some outstanding holding. I mean, in the middle. Now, and I'm not complaining about that because that's what people are taught to do. But they got us. Our pad levels got a little high. I will say that, and they hit us on, and we got 2 holding penalties. We were a little bit, like you said, got a little bit discombobulated, and then they threw a sluggo on us when we should have been in press coverage with the senior corner because we had locked the outside number 2 with a bracket. If he'd have pressed the sluggo is not near as good when you play off and you're trying to read 3-step. That's when you want to throw a sluggo. So we gave up 2 sluggos in that drive, one against cover 2 and one we should have been in press, and we screwed both of them up. So I don't take nothing away. They executed the play, but we screwed that up. And it wasn't anything that they were doing that was like, oh my goodness, we're not ready for this. It was us and and it comes back to discipline. And if we're not going to be anything, we're going to be a disciplined team. And we're going to set a standard. I told them right there. We set a standard for ourselves on defense. And that first 2 series, we didn't come out and play to that standard. And we've got to play to that standard no matter what happens to us, no matter what's going on. We're going to play at a high level and keep ourselves in the football game, regardless of anything else. And I think that if we didn't learn anything else, we learned we got to do our own job. You can't do somebody else's job, and you got to play to that high standard. And once we settle back down, the rest of the game, we got after them pretty good. So, what we've got to do is be more consistent and more disciplined. It's very simple.
It was a tough call as well, maybe the turning point in the game in that second half after they get the first touchdown. Thurlow Wilkins, who had a very impressive debut, returning kicks for the Pioneers, well, except for one particular kickoff. But a game in which he goes the 7th most kickoff returns in the career of Tusculum football, and get the 96-yard touchdown return called back for a flag. We have to punt it away. They score basically on the very next series. So instead of 17-7, it's all of a sudden 24-0. That's tough to come back from, and that's the break in the game that I think that when you're on the road.
Yeah, you got to have one, and we blocked that up. I thought CJ did a great job just screening the guy off because he picked him up a little bit too early, so he had to block him a long time. But he was engaged on the side with him the whole time, never lost engagement, and then just threw his hands up and screened, and they called clipping, and it was what I teach. That's the way we teach it. And I thought he did a great job. I just thought we got a little bit of a bad break because talk about blocked up. We really should have scored one other time where Thurlow cut it back. If he'd have stayed outside on the counter that we ran, then he would have scored another one. But the way he hits it up in there, we got to get him the ball more. I told our offense that. I was disappointed that he only had 6 reps on the offensive side of the ball. That was one thing that we had a little talk about because the kid's very, very talented. He's young, he's going to make mistakes, but he's got the kind of speed and size that if he gets into the open field, he's got a chance to go the whole distance every single time. So we got to find different ways to get him involved.
It was again a tough call, and the Pioneers. It's almost as if you couldn't respond from that. But I thought Bryce Moore did a good job coming in and responding. He was very sharp. Got A.J. Bellinger involved. He didn't have a touch in that first half. A.J. finishes 3 catches, 33 yards. Did get a couple of explosion plays as well, and he drives the team. Joaquin Collazo did have the touchdown as Moore went out with cramps or some type of a leg injury.
I think he's fine.
But it was again. He scored late in that contest. Collazo throws for 117. Jordan rushes for 56, and Torrey Ponder had 71 yards receiving. A game on the road where we learn a lot about ourselves, no question about it, and a long road trip, no question. What did you come away learning about your football team?
Well, I don't think we're as far away as people think. Like, we got to make plays when they present themselves. Okay, you got the touchdown callback. We dropped a touchdown pass that we were behind everybody. If you get those 2 scores, now all of a sudden it's a whole different ball of wax. And so I think when the opportunities present themselves, you have to make those plays. And we didn't do that. And we've got to find a way to do those things. I think the second thing is we've got to find what our identity is on the offensive side of the ball. We've got to go, look at ourselves in the mirror and decide who we want to be. And I don't think it's lack of preparation or effort or anything else. I think those kids tried hard. I think the coaches coached hard. We just didn't get it done. That's really what it comes down to, and this is a results-driven business, and we've got to do different things and do things that we do well, and we've got to do them quickly because we got a good team in here coming in this week. Now, I'm not sitting here and telling anybody we can't play with the guys coming in this week. I think we can. I think we will. I think we're going to rise to the occasion and play our best game. I think we'll play better than we did last week. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you've got to improve. You got to understand what your improvements must be, and then you got to go to work. Like when we go to work. We practiced yesterday, roll it back up Tuesday. When we go back to work, it's on. We got to get better each day, and we got to drive them as coaches in a good, positive way, and we got to make sure we're paying attention to detail and do things the Pioneer way, and that's how we're going to do it. We're not going to do it any other way. We're not panicking. There's no panic button being pushed. There's a lot of football games left. We still think we got a chance to have a very good football team, and we just got to keep getting better. The encouraging part for me too is some of our young guys played very, very well. Right. Like our starting right tackle was a guy I was really worried about. He's a true freshman, and he may have played the best out of the whole offensive line, which is encouraging because I know those other guys can do it. We just got to kind of get them going. So that was a positive. I think we got, saw Torrey Ponder can be a very effective receiver, and he's going to be fine. So that's a positive. Jake Moss, we were a little bit unlucky. We've been down some receivers, with injury. Jake Moss was sick, couldn't go. Hope we may or may not get him back this week. There's a couple other guys that have the chance. We'll find out more about Aaron Fudge. He's had a little issue. So we've been down some guys. Logan may get back this week at D tackle. We'll have to see on that. we got beat up a little bit toward the end of this thing, so we weren't exactly full go, but that's part of football. You're not going to be in the next man up mentality. And I did see that the guys who had to step up, we had to play some true freshmen in there, and I thought they stepped up and competed well. Positions that I thought played very well. I thought our linebacker core played extremely well. I thought Jackson, Chris, other than not getting in the half, I thought Jackson, Chris, and Ivan played very, very well. I think one other thing, right before the half, he threw us a pick six, and we dropped that too. So you started looking at, you start thinking about, coulda, woulda, shouldas. We had opportunities to make plays that we didn't make. If you make those plays, it could have been a completely different ball game. But that's part of the game. But I thought the linebacker core played very, very well. I thought the D-line was solid inside. I thought at D-end we got to be more consistent. The secondary, I thought the safeties were better than the corners for the most part, except we got to make tackles. We missed a couple times. Got a bad face mask on Malik when he should have just gone low. We played that perfect. He just got to go up in there instead of trying to reach and grab, just go through his legs and gator roll tackle the guy, and we wouldn't have gotten that face mask. We probably kept us out of that scoring drive. We did some things to ourselves. There's a lot of self-inflicted wounds that we've got to clean up as a team, and I think you'll see that. So really, those are the two groups. The linebackers probably were the best overall. First kick, I thought our extra point, he just tried to overkick it, tried to kick it too hard. But I thought after that, settled down. I thought did a pretty good job. Got the ball up, good holds. We had a freshman snapper, did a good job. Now punting, our snappers got to be a little bit better. But Carter Mangle got dinged up a little. Had to put a backup in there. They rushed 3 and get a punt block because we got a young kid in there that didn't do his job. Those are frustrating things because we probably spend more time on special teams than any other time that I've been a part of any group. But we got to go back and do it some more because it didn't hurt us. We ended up getting out of that situation, thank goodness. We were able to make it stand on defense. But it did flip the field for them, and we've got to be better off that. So we got a lot of things we got to get better at with a good team coming in, and then we'll start conference play after that. But I still like this team. I like their moxie. They were super disappointed, but understood what we've got to do to be better. We know who we want our identity to be. We want to be a physical football team that comes off the ball, that makes you work for all 4 quarters, and we know that we weren't as physical as we'd like to be. So we've got to show who are we going to be. Are we going to be the team that you saw a lot of times last year? We're going to be that team this year that played awful hard. I thought our effort on special teams also was outstanding. We didn't always play them great, but the effort, guys were flying around and we were getting after it pretty good. So kickoff return, punt return was really, really good. The things we got to work on, punt and kickoff, got to be better as far as coverage-wise and execution-wise there. And what's kind of crazy is we worked the 2 we didn't do very well, we worked on the most, which is, and they'll get you beat the quickest, so that, that's why we do that. But as a whole, I think it's a good group. We're going to keep getting better, and, we just got to keep, we knew that we were going in to play a tough team. We know we're playing a tough team this week. We're going to try to get the W. We're going to try to defend the home turf. We need people to come out and support us. Hope to have a great crowd. Having the blackout that I found out about 2 seconds ago. So I guess we're wearing all black. Awesome. 6 o'clock game, right? And really looking forward to getting in front of our home crowd, playing on our field, sleeping in our own beds, things like that instead of going 9 hours in the middle of Mississippi.
1,200 miles, I think.
Yeah.
We'll say that. We'll just round up. Is over. Thursday night under the lights, Delta State gets the win against the Pioneers by a final of 24-10. We turn the page, and we welcome West Alabama. We'll do that this Saturday, and we'll talk about that when we continue with more of our Pioneer Football Show right after this.
We are in Granger County, Tennessee, here at Pierce Farms, and the Pierce family has been working with Ingalls for over 30 years. It means a great deal supplying produce as a local farmer. It really touches base knowing that we're just simple people just trying to help, and we love what we do, and Ingalls is a huge part of helping us do it. Farming is who we are, and it's in our blood. God has really blessed us with the sun and the soil to grow the best tomatoes you'll find anywhere. I believe it's really in the soil. So if you're in Granger County, you farm tomatoes, then you're in. Just a great blessing on us to actually farm and be able to farm and to supply tomatoes to people, and Ingalls really cares about family farms like Pierce Farms, and they really care about their customers. We're just glad to be a part of that. God has blessed us with a really great partnership there. They make fresh local produce have real meaning for lots of people. I'm Shane Pierce, and this is my Ingalls story.
Welcome back into the Pioneer Football Show with Coach Jerry Odom. The Pioneers, who will have their home opener under the lights somewhat this coming Saturday, where the Pioneers will take on West Alabama, team also out of the Gulf South. And I think I love the competition that the Gulf South drives. Now, I'm going to throw a stat out. Pioneers are 3-10 all time against the Gulf South, and it's not that there's a reason. We're playing really good teams out of the Gulf South. North Alabama in the past. West Georgia, who is on this tremendous run right now in Division II, Delta State,
Valdosta State,
Valdosta State, the national champion.
Right.
It's a good conference.
It's a good conference.
Good teams come out of this conference. Next year on a Thursday night, we get to go to Livingstone, Alabama, which is only 7.5 hours away.
Well, it's much closer.
But it is closer, so we're looking forward to it. But we're playing them on a Saturday night. Under the lights. This is a good team that'll be coming in. This is a preseason number 24 team that comes in. Gulf South, I think, number 2 team in the preseason. Again, a lot of these preseason polls mean nothing, but it gives us something to chance to say, it's a good team we've got coming in Saturday. What do they do? What don't you like about what they're going to bring this Saturday?
Well, they really, on the offensive side of the football, throw the ball very well. Got a big tight end, Quay Boyd, 6'5", 245, All-American candidate, outstanding player. A little slot receiver, number 2. That the name escapes me right this second, but outstanding player in the slot. Big wide receiver out wide, 18, 89. Their skill people are good. And they got 2 little running backs. Neither one of them are very big compared to what we played last week. I think 181. The other guy's like 160, but they're quick. Up front, they're massive inside. They're the center's 6'4", 350. The right guard is 6'2", 322. The left guard 6'3", 333. They got the tackles aren't as big, but they're a little bit more athletic. They're not going to wow you with schematics as far as what they do necessarily in the run or pass game. They do things. What they do very, very well. And their quarterback is a transfer from Delaware State. So they lost their all-time leading passer last year, but this guy seems to be a very good player himself. Watched him a little bit against Limestone. They beat Limestone, I think 35-19 or something of that nature. And I think they're a good offensive football team that we're going to have to play very, very well against. And hopefully we are going to be better in the secondary, not give up too many big plays and make them earn their way down the field. And we'll have a good game plan, and we just got to go out and execute on Saturday night. Defensively, you're getting more of a 4-3. They'll be in quarters, quarter, half, a little bit of 2, and then some man free. Real big and stout up front. Their D tackles are, 6 foot, 285 to 290 guys, but they're really stout. I mean, heavy-handed guys. They're going to play great technique, very, very heavy-handed. 2 ends are 6'3", 220, 225 guys, but they're pretty athletic. Love the way their linebackers play. They're downhill guys, hard scrape guys. Play downhill real fast, corners, and going to give you multiple looks in the back end. Similar to us, probably don't move quite as much up front, maybe as we do, but they're more of a 4-3 team, I would think, than what we saw last week with the 3-3. So a little bit of change there schematically, but a very, very well-coached fundamental football team. Got a great punter, averages about 46, a kick, so really good punter. Kickers back also. I mean, their whole offensive line are seniors, so they're a senior-laden group. I mean, this should be their year. I think their big tight end's a senior, number 2 is a senior. So their guys are there ready to go. I'm looking forward to the challenge as a coach. I think you want to try to play the best, and I think right now they're one of the best in the country. And they were in the playoffs last year, and so we're looking forward to a great team coming in here, but we're coming in, we're defending our home. We're trying to get a dub. I mean, this is not going to be a game where, we're not laying down for anybody, and we got to get better. And I told them, man, we challenged them. The kids were really excited on Sunday, and these type of games against a Gulf South competition where we could end up playing 2 of the better teams in the Gulf, it could pan out that way. At least 2 of the top 4, teams in the Gulf South, we could end up playing that situation. If we do, we do. It's fine. I have no problem with it whatsoever, because at some point it's going to make us better for once we get into SAC competition. What we've got to do is find a way to win this football game, you know, by hook or by crook, whatever it takes. Pull up the Marvels line, right? Whatever it takes to get it done, and that's what we got to do. And like I said, I love this group of kids. I got a great group of young men. They're hard workers. They don't flinch. I didn't think we flinched the other night. I thought we fought. We didn't win, but we fought. And we didn't flinch. And I don't expect us to flinch on Saturday night either. We're going to go up there and we're going to try to be a better football team than we were this week and try to win the football game.
You know, they'll be prepared. Now it's just a matter of X's and O's and execution this coming Saturday night. Blackout night. Come out early, do some tailgating here at Pioneer Field ahead of all of this stuff. Want to see you out. Want to bring the community out. Just wear your black for the blackout night. Pioneers will be dressed in black. We going all black? We going to make a call right now?
Yeah, all black.
All black.
All black.
That's what the blackout, I suppose, is about.
That's what they tell me.
Join us on the Pioneer Sports Network. Our coverage will begin at 5 o'clock. We'll kick it off at 6 o'clock. You can watch it through TusculumPioneers.com. Just go on to anytime you want to watch or listen, go on to the Pioneer Football schedule page, and you'll see links for stats, audio, video, and that such. That's where you will find that to watch Pioneer football, to listen to Pioneer football as well. He's the coach, Jerry Odom. Thanks to Nick Forsberg behind the scenes and all of those through the Sports Information Department at Tusculum University. And until next Saturday, I'm Brian Stayton. Go Pioneers.